find myself having the difficult conversations with myself more than anybody. You know, that confrontation. And I think that's pretty fascinating. But again, it might be that midlife
where
thing.
does happen?
Well, hold on.
What's that?
Let's break that down. This is like...
I know I realize they happen in your head.
Yeah.
But where are you? Like, is there certain places you like to be?
No,
as
situations just arise, right? Gotcha. So, and it goes back to what I think you had even written in one of your amazing newsletters or little, what do you call those? The little email pickups you send every morning that I read and love.
Yeah, Better Today 365.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, Better Today 365.
If I wanted to follow that on, say, Instagram or something, where could I find it?
You'd find it at Better Today 365 on all social media platforms.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I fully...
Platform of choice?
Platform of choice.
How about TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is Restauranttopia.
Welcome back to Restauranttopia. I got Dave Ross, Anthony Hamilton, and we're going to bring you probably the best episode of the whole year. My episode. Comfort is a slow death. Prefer pain.
Mine's on humility. It's coming up next.
Is it?
No.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that term.
What?
Yeah. Is there a hyphen in there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Guys, love being back in the lab and doing another recording with you guys. Recently had a birthday.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. I still have a handful of years before I hit 50.
Well, you're on the downside now, though.
I mean, maybe when I say handful, someone who's worked construction a long time around power saws and, maybe hand-eye coordination wasn't so well.
Sure.
But anyways, I digress. A lot of stuff has happened this year already with me personally, business-wise. Just, everything that we, kind of go through, personal stuff, just life. And I got these keychains for everybody this year that says, comfort is a slow death, prefer pain. And it resonated so much with me. I don't know if anyone even kept them, but
it's on my bag behind.
It's on my bag. I know. It's like, I don't know if that's like a courtesy thing. Like, it's like, I got to wear this.
I clip it out only when I know I see you.
Yeah. I got to wear this green sweater from Nana because, but I only wear it around her. So I
re-gifted mine.
Oh, nice.
Well, no. So here's the deal, though. It wasn't an insult.
Okay.
Well, I work with someone, and we have like a group text, and she's always posting these like discipline equal freedom type stuff and idioms and whatnot. Yeah. And she is all about this life, and she's been on a road to recovery for about a year in sobriety, and she's just kicking ass, going to the gym, punching bags. And I'm like, my God, like I love this, but like she loves it.
This is
like,
the timing of this. Yeah.
Dude, I gave it to her and she like pasted it to her forehead. She thinks it's the absolute, I thought it was amazing. She 10X that. It was appropriate. Trust me. You would have endorsed this regift.
And by the way, I have 10 in my office.
I figured as much. Yeah. You're an advantageous buyer. So.
Yeah. We're going to get a package.
I will happily take another one.
But I will give you one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Free shipping.
I'll wait till Christmas.
I think we often gravitate towards comfort, and that really destroys our potential. And in this episode, I kind of want to break free of mediocrity and pursue life with purpose, growth, impact. And I got to be honest with you, like there's a time to sprint and there's a time to feel comfortable. But in my life right now, I feel like it's the time to sprint and really move forward and grow. And life kind of rope-a-doped me into this comfort level that I would say, felt like a warm blanket, and you don't grow and you don't evolve, but boom, you get smacked a little bit and you're like, oh, I got to snap out of this. Mm-hmm. And I want to prefer pain. And in the sense of the comfort is, I don't know how to say it. It is, feels good at the moment, but for long-term growth and success, it is a detriment.
Yeah, and I think that this is a very appropriate episode, I feel, and it's not just us in our echo chamber, but this over the last several years through the pandemic, and I know we don't want to talk about the pandemic, but I think a lot of this is happening with a lot of people because life did change. Mm-hmm. Things got displaced, stuff happened, things got put on pause. I think there was a lot of, because I'll tell you, even myself, like there was a bit more laziness, a bit more comfort seeking, a bit more of these things, that occurred. And I may have had this smack in the face. But I can appreciate it. Like, it's definitely like,
You had the ready-made excuse of the pandemic. And I'm not trying to downplay the severity of the pandemic, especially in our industry. but it allowed you to say, all right, hey, I need to not really work on anything. I need to make sure I stabilize the ship and everything is good. So I understand that. And I'm not trying to be, as I always joke, Tony Robbins or something on this, but I broke down this episode into 3 parts: business, personal relationships, and yourself.
So you think this has something to do with our age too? Because I felt it, and you can call it what you want to call it, but even a couple of years ago, I felt myself just wanting more from my career, right? Yeah. Especially my career and personal life. I'm being dragged by a leash. I got 2 kids and travel ball, so I don't have comfort. But at this age, it was kind of like that kind of crux where you're like, okay, I'm heading into the back 9. Mm-hmm. Do I want to go real hard for a couple more holes to make sure the last holes are nice and easy, right? Yeah. Like, and I'm wondering how much, because we're all similar age, right? So, and I feel exactly what you're saying. It kind of hit me in my soul because I feel that too.
Are you trying to rename this midlife crisis episode, or what are you trying?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying.
Self-reflection at an advanced age. We could workshop this in ChatGPT. I think you're right. I think that is a big part of it. And as I always say, is nursing homes are filled with regret. Like you can smell the stink of it in there, and it's like,
that was.
But you can. It's like, I would have done this, I would have done that, and I think that when we talk to someone young and you get this, like, back in my day, and then like what I would do if I were you, and sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But is that old man sites just pouring a cup of regret onto their story and their life? And like, you know what I'm saying?
I just love the way you articulated that.
Yeah,
that's all.
It to me, it has been a month of self-reflection and growth in so many different ways. But
congratulations.
I mean, it's something I focused on and really worked on.
It is, and you're in it. You feel it's like a curse when you're in it, but you have to reflect on the blessing of what that's going to bring.
Mm-hmm. Right? Oh no,
because the initial, it's almost like a mini grieving process. Like you get smacked with something in life, and you go through denial, anger, although you try to get to acceptance,
And that was and for our listeners out there, like, is there a catalyst in your life that's doing it? Because when you are comfortable, do you have that thing that shakes you out of that? Yeah. And then you either falter or you rally. And I think part of rallying is realizing, what's my plan moving forward? How am I going to do this? So first one up, business and business relationships, which I think are basically the same thing. You have partnerships, right? Mm-hmm. I have partnerships. Mm-hmm. Dave has partnerships. This is a partnership with the beautiful pod. Everyone's a big fan. Getting a lot of props and kudos to our new editing team and just the overall production value.
Yeah, no question.
Content has always been phenomenal,
but it has been made better.
Humility.
I'm gonna Google. We'll get it by the end.
Yeah, I will.
We're gonna keep trying.
I've heard the word.
Yeah,
just not that familiar with.
Yeah, and it's. Have I spoke it?
That's a good question.
How do you enunciate it again?
No.
Okay, all right, like we'll check. But we get to this point where life is good enough. Our business is, chugging along, and we don't want to do that additional thing, whether it's a marketing campaign or it's finding a new staff member so we can level up, instead of like, Timmy's okay. He doesn't always show up on time, but he's a good line cook.
Or how about just trying a new idea? Some people are like, even
allergic
come up,
allergic
and
to
like,
allergic to that. Yeah, no, that's I call it the owner trap. Everything just becomes easier, whether training, delegating, changing, all of that things. You could just get in this trap. And you see it, right? As an owner, now that you got an operation and you're trying to run, unit 1 versus unit 3 and how that feels.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the type of person to be comfortable though. Right. And maybe I had some tendencies, but to go back to your partnership thing, when your partners are carefully curated and you meld well with them, they push your buttons and you push them. There's almost a certain level of accountability or friendly competition there. I feel that if I'm not doing something or moving the needle, I'm letting them down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that guilt by far supersedes my quest for comfort. I don't know since we started our venture that we've sat still for more than 5 minutes.
I don't think you haven't.
I mean, you guys are seeing from the outside looking in, like it's always something.
100%.
Yeah.
But I also will say the biggest takeaway from what you just said, and I think we could do a whole episode on this. I've seen this so many times as an attorney, curating that partnership and making sure that your team is set up for success. But I also, to kind of the flip side of that, even with the best team set up for success, and you may be looking back on your partnership right now and say, oh, it was set up for failure. Well, was it? Or were you afraid to have the difficult conversations along the way?
For sure.
And that's what I think that we all need to really prefer pain to really lead this in and go full circle with the episode tagline here. Have the difficult conversation. Don't suffer in silence. I just did a deal where one of the partners bought out two of his other partners. And I was so proud of the young man because he didn't love the partnership and didn't suffer in silence. So many people would have gone on and on and on with, this thing bothers me about this person. This thing bothers me about this person. And he wanted this venture for his family. And everyone involved, great people. They still have another partnership on another restaurant together. But this one he wanted to do on his own. He bought them out. Again, prefer pain, took the risk, doing it on his own, but also wanted to have that difficult conversation to say, and whether or not there was a ton of pain or he just wanted to protect his family on this particular deal. I didn't go into a ton of detail what the catalyst was, but
there was a catalyst and he was looking at an outcome.
Correct. Yeah. But he preferred pain in the sense of he had the difficult conversation. He penned the email and followed up with a call and said, hey, I would like to buy you out. Is that okay? This is what I propose. There wasn't, the proposal was fair. There wasn't a bunch of back and forth negotiation. And again, these are all sophisticated restaurant owners. So like the dialogue was at a pretty high level. No one thought like, oh, I'm, worth $1 billion. And it's like, no, I think you're worth $1. Like, there wasn't, it was a fair number.
Some chasm of expectations. Yeah.
There was some money down. There was an earn out aspect to it. Like it was very well done. So as a tactical exercise, do a comfort zone audit. I'm going to put it in the show notes, but whether it's list your top 5 vendors, contracts that you might have that you need to renegotiate, people discussions that you have been avoiding. It's now's the time. Pick one, address it, have the difficult conversation, stop being in this purgatory of comfort.
Right. It's funny though, because the more you lean into that comfort of not having those conversations, the issue looms larger and larger. So you're actually wandering down the path of exponentially more pain. I call them micro confrontations in our organization, right? So I talk to our staff and they might have a difficult time negotiating with a manager who's acting out of place or someone who has a bad habit at work that needs corrected, and they avoid it because we're hospitality folks. Confrontation isn't our favorite thing ever, right? Like
the customer's never wrong. Yes,
exactly, right? So, but it's like you give them the situation. It's like, well, it's much easier to have a conversation right now before this grows and grows and grows, and then it becomes insurmountable. And then you got to throw a hand grenade at it, and then you got to deal with collateral damage.
Yep.
Like just nip it in the bud, as they say, right?
Yeah. Discomfort in business often is the price of growth. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
For sure.
And that's I love that aspect of like have the micro confrontations, but where most people are at right now, they haven't had that track record of doing that. So the confrontation is going to hurt, but it is for the best.
Yeah. I think you have some personality in there as well, because there's some people that actually have less issue with confrontation and want to hit things head on. I think it's, there's just people that are built that way.
Yeah.
You have people maybe more like myself who's, lived most of my life almost anti-confrontational.
Sure.
Yep.
But as I've got older and had experience and realized that, hey, those micro confrontations or even larger confrontations and maybe I let go, once you get through them, it seems like the most painful, anxiety riddled thing to do.
Oh, the anticipation's way worse than the event.
Oh, and then you, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like how much more amazing you feel.
Yeah.
I equate it to, and this might be a gross example, but like, when you have to throw up, like that feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then once it happens, you're like, oh my God, but the the minutes leading up to it is like the worst feeling ever. You know what I mean? And then once it's out, you're like, whoo.
Yeah, impending doom, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think when you have those experiences and if you can push yourself, if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, there is something tough I got to do and maybe I'm holding back, like, go do it. Like, take this advice, go do it. And then that experience is going to help you the next time,
I also think and I love this, I think your result is largely predicated on your tact and couth and approach in this too, especially when you're dealing with business partners and you want to maintain that, right? Or employees you want to maintain. Sure. It's very important to take a step in the realm of empathy for a few minutes and think about how your words are going to be received. Because I've seen it especially with young managers, they just come in guns blazing. It's like, whoa, Yosemite Sam, put those things in a holster, warm up the conversation a little bit, circle the wagon a little bit.
No, there's definitely some tact to it.
Yeah, for sure. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's all hostility, it needs to be, but for the most part.
And I think that goes back to the personalities of that person. Like they're not even, it's not even that they're comfortable with confrontation. They just they don't have the switch for the tact and just the way to handle things. They're just bulldozing.
Dude, that phenomenon is so funny. Like the sweetest, nicest people, I'm like, okay, you need to address this. And they go in and they're just like, whoa. And it's like, where did that come from, right? Like, how did you go from 0 to 10,000? Like, oh my God, like just ramp up to it. It's cool. Also, just ask questions, have a conversation, have a little empathy. You'll find that things go a lot smoother. Yeah. The confrontations aren't all that bad. Kind of like you said. I mean, throwing up sucks, but it sucks for 30 seconds. Yeah. And then you're good.
I think you have to self-assess and know who you are. I read a book recently, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And that's who I am. As a lawyer and the outside world, I'm an enforcer. I'm an advocate for people. I have no problem being an advocate for somebody else. Yeah. But in my own personal life and with my business relationships, I'm very easygoing, and that becomes a problem. So identify who you are. Are you a bull in the china shop and just constantly, breaking things and being very aggressive to people, or are you a nice guy, as they would say, and then you suffer from nice guy syndrome? And then when someone, and I think kind of to your example, like the person's so nice, but they really have been harboring this, angst in them. And then when they have the opportunity to let the bullet out, like, man, it's all coming out. Yeah. It's coming out heavy. So identify who you are, because it may not fit your personality, or it's too aggressive, but you got to know yourself. Sure. So the second part of this episode is the personal life, your spouse, your kids, your family, those relationships too. You could be avoiding the confrontation. Is there something that is in your life that you want to change? And, is it temporary? Is it just, hey, we got 3 years of travel baseball and we're going to watch, some kid strike out with a $400 bat? Who knows? Like I'm not saying that's your son.
Were you at my son's game last night? Because he's got the hype fire. I didn't mean to spend that much. It was a long story. I'll tell you. But I'm embarrassed that he has it, but it was one of those things where I bought him a Christmas present used and I got a good deal and he broke it the next day and he's crying and we went to 5 different stores, could find no bats. And then the last store we went to, they had one bat and it was that bat. And I'm like, all right, man. Yep.
Yeah. Better to be lucky than good.
Yep.
We're getting this one, Dad.
Yeah. You should say I was at the store and I was looking and I turned around and he's just standing there holding it. Oh. I'm like, well, decision's made. Let's go. All right. And if you know my son, you can imagine the look on his face, and you can't say no.
Yeah, no. And you got a good kid, but in your personal lives, you can get lulled into this autopilot living.
Sure.
So you're rocking it at work. The restaurant's running great, but you go home and it's rinse and repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over. What are you doing in your personal life that, again, whether it's with your wife to make sure that spark is there, that you're, taking her on date nights, that you're planning a trip somewhere, that you're, being super engaged with everything, and then really showing up with authenticity, whether you're, again, at home, sitting on the couch with your wife, are you present there? Or are you on your phone? Are you at your son's basketball game and you're on your phone? Or are you super present? Because everyone's picking up on this. And if you're stuck in this autopilot, it can be almost a purgatory, like a pending doom, when really if you were present and enjoying it, it'd be so much better.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a big one. I mean, I think I think presence, no matter where you're at, in a meeting, and if we were recording this podcast and Anthony's over there like checking his email and not engaged in the conversation, like but I'm saying if you were like that would not make a great episode. That would be it would be noticeable from us. It'd be noticeable from the audience.
For sure.
Be noticeable, what I mean. So same thing when you're at work and you're meeting with an employee, and I know we're talking about personal now, but again, at home on the couch, like all those things, like being present is probably maybe more difficult than ever, really, because of the supercomputer we have in our pocket. I mean, it's a huge distraction.
There's all sorts of distractions. There's distractions in your mind, but do you want to leave a legacy of avoidance? How can we bring up the unresolved patterns to get, that get passed down?
Sure.
Generation after generation. Have the difficult conversation. So, as a tactical exercise, what's the one conversation you've been avoiding with your partner or child? What's that thing? And set aside 15 minutes each week to discuss these things. Not like you have to have a board meeting and a call to order and Robert's Rules of Order, and we're gonna, do I have a second? I want to talk about menu planning.
They also say too, which is fascinating. The end of the night is not the time to have those conversations with your spouse specifically.
Yeah.
Right? So make sure you're choosing the right time of day as far as that's concerned, because it's one of those things where you both want to go to bed and there's not a lot of energy in a conversation and it kind of comes across abrupt.
Well, yeah.
And it's also maybe a long day, especially if you got young kids and you're working. For sure. You're exhausted. It's like
it's not the time.
Yeah.
So you got to be tactful with that too. But oddly enough, I find myself having the difficult conversations with myself more than anybody. That confrontation. And I think that's pretty fascinating. But again, it might be that midlife
where
thing.
This happen?
Well, hold on.
What's that?
Let's break that down.
This is like,
I know, I realize they happen in your head.
Yeah.
But where are you? Like, is there certain places you like to
No,
be
as situations just arise, right? Gotcha. So, and it goes back to what I think you had even written in one of your amazing newsletters or little, what do you call those? The little email pickups you send every morning that I read and love.
Yeah, Better Today 365.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, Better Today 365.
If I wanted to follow that on, say, Instagram or something, where could I find that?
You'd find it at Better Today 365 on all social media platforms.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I fully
platform of choice.
Platform of choice.
How about TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm at a point now. One of the first things I do in the morning after I get my kids to school, I sit in my office, I open my computer. It's like, there's Dave. Awesome.
Yeah.
He's going to be
first one.
But you talk about that pause routine, right? That we've talked about so much from Think Like a Monk. I think where we both learned it, and it's one of those things where in life it's like, I'm doing something annoying, so I take that time to pause, right? But I'm mindful. I'm in the present, and I say, okay, what am I doing right now? Like, I don't want to be doing this. How do I get out of this, right? How do I do this, avoid this? Whether it's the way I feel, whether it's what I ate, whether it's mowing the yard, whether it's scooping poop, like all those things that I hate doing. I've worked on strategies, especially the last like 6-7 months or a year, on how to avoid those things because I know my buddy loves mowing the yard. I can't stand it. I don't know how you guys feel about mowing the yard.
I hate it. It's always at the most, it's the worst time. But the reason you two are great co-hosts is because you just like segued beautifully into section number 3 here.
I snuck over and looked at it.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Not that smart.
I fear we underestimate his sneakiness.
Mental health, discipline, organization. I think that's the other. Are your habits either a prison or a path? It all starts internally, and how do you get that mental discomfort to say, all right, like I don't like things I'm doing, this behavior, this avoidance, this distraction. And again, it becomes, like you said, whether or not to have the conversation with your business partner or a key employee, and like, I don't want to have that. I don't want to have it. Like, just have it. Like what's the Marcus Aurelius one? The quote, I think you said the other day,
criticism.
No, it's not criticism. It's the anticipation of something is worse than the actual.
Better.
Yeah. What is? I'll have to find it.
I talked to my friend the other day, and I was talking about happiness in life, and she goes, "Just make sure you got something planned all the time." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "The anticipation of doing something awesome is so great and so long." She goes, "So me and my husband, we just make sure we have a trip planned every 3 months, or we have something amazing planned." Yeah. And to your point, it could be a date night, it could be whatever.
That's a good point.
But I loved it. She goes, "Just get it on the calendar because then you always have that to look forward to. So you always get these micro doses of dopamine every time you see it on your calendar, or when your mind starts to wander, it's like, just a couple weeks I'll be at the beach." And she says that works for her sustained happiness. And I'm like, you know what? That's amazing.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, that's That's cool.
I thought so too.
Again, I totally agree with it, and we do that to some level. Mm-hmm. But I never heard it articulated.
Maybe not intentionally.
You're
just doing it. But yeah,
well, with her and her husband,
intention with it,
it's a strategy. It's on a to-do list. So we don't have anything for July. Get something in the books for July.
Yeah,
right. And they hyper focus on it. Yeah. Now they don't have kids. That makes it easy because they're traveling the world.
But it doesn't always have to. It doesn't have to be this grandiose vacation. It could be, you set up dinner with the neighbors, or you got the family reunion, or you got whatever it is. Like there's just something happening. Yeah.
It's Teddy swims on a Tuesday night at Scene Pavilion. Like
is he
playing there?
Yeah.
This past Tuesday?
No, in 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd like to go see that.
Yeah, it's
pretty good.
Brian will be there.
It's a good ticket.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing that you kind of got to be thinking of. Like, hey, are you on the mailing list? Is to get the pre-launch tickets, and is there a vacation schedule? Do you have someone that you work with that you have a vacation? Like, you don't have to spend all this money, but you do have to actively do it. And again, whether it's a Caribbean vacation or just a weekend in Northeast Ohio, beautiful Northeast Ohio, where you come to Cleveland and you enjoy the finer things of Cleveland and the
don't sleep on Cleveland, man. It's pretty great.
I'm not sleeping at all. I think it's Travel and Leisure named it like top 5 cities to come to. It's hot. No.
Did it really?
How dare you?
Are you pulling my leg? Like,
no,
hey, come on.
No, I just saw it on.
Because normally we on Cleveland and then we love it. It's like ours, so we can do it.
No.
Travel and Leisure, come on.
I'm 100%. It'll be in the show notes, and I'm
okay.
It is.
Dave's writing that down.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna call Brian on this.
No.
Well, I'm trying to be good to the audience because a million times we say it'll be in the show notes and it's nowhere in the show notes. So I'm just making notes.
Again, the production value is way up now.
I might have noticed that too. I just didn't want to have the difficult conversation with you guys.
You were avoiding it. Too much comfort in your life. You have to do.
No.
Too much comfort.
The other things on here that I just want you to focus on as we kind of round this out. We talk so much about mental health, and do you need to talk with someone, a mental health professional, talk to a psychologist, a counselor, or whatever? Like, those things can be the catalyst. And again, get out of that comfort zone. Call, set up an appointment, find out how your insurance pays for it. It's not expensive, whatever you need. But the discomfort and pain of like not doing it and continually regressing is going to be a problem. So,
that's, I guess the way I've always felt, or especially in the last handful of years, is it's nice to go home, clock out, sit on the couch and just fade away into reels, right? And not do anything. But the guilt I carry...
Yeah, but is it nice, though?
Yeah. In the moment it is. Afterwards, though, the guilt, the shame, or whatever emotion I'm feeling about how I didn't get anything done is way worse than actually just doing the thing in the first place. It goes back to discipline equals freedom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
is it numbing behavior?
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
And whether it's reels, it's alcohol, it's Real Housewives of, Cleveland, whatever this, you're watching the show. Again, a little bit of that goes a long way. And can you get past that? And the final one on here that I had, which this is one that I've been exercising, is organization and kind of getting your house in order. I find the pain of getting things organized feels so good once it's done. And whether it's my office and not just having, this is the February pile that is 4 feet deep and I have to go through, and 50%, you're going to go through that pile. 50% of that stuff has already been completed and is done. But there's 2 or 3 things in there that still have to get done. And then to be able to get those knocked off the list is so important. So, the gift of daily pain, to choose to do that little bit of, whether it's organization, setting up the meeting with the counselor, having the difficult conversation, is worth it in the amount of growth. And it's going to be these little daily actions that help you get to the next level. So, we did a self-discipline, tactical exercise in the show notes. You'll see, as far as picking a habit each week that you intentionally want to work on, things that you want to discuss.
No, Brian, this was an awesome episode. I mean, I think that sometimes this is overlooked a lot, not only in personal life, but in business. You know what I mean? Like take these things that are uncomfortable, take them on, get it over with, You know what I mean? And I think when you get on the other side, you'll realize it was well worth it to take on the challenge.
Discipline is choosing pain in the short term for the long-term success and growth. Comfort is a killer. It's a killer of growth. It's whether, for yourself, not exercising, doing all the things that you should be doing, but you're not because, you're drinking too much, you're procrastinating too much, you're vegging out too much, you're delaying. Just, take this time to self-reflect and get after it. And it's, again, every day, just do a little bit more, create the habits. Check out the show notes on restauranttopia.com. There's some great tactical exercises there. You'll love them. We want you to be better. We want to help. Anything that we can do, let us know. Dave, Anthony, thank you so much for being on the pod
appreciate
today.
it. Check it out on restauranttopia.com.
I heard something the other day. It was short-term pain almost always causes long-term relief. Short-term relief almost always causes long-term pain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Makes good.
That was good.
Sense.
I liked it.
Good ender.
That was good.
So, all right, guys. Thanks.